Belly's wedding is about to turn into the most heartbreaking disaster we've ever seen. And I'm not exaggerating. Episode 7 of The Summer I Turned Pretty. Season 3 will take everything we thought we knew about Belly, Jeremiah, and Conrad, and rip it apart in the most brutal way possible. We've been building up to this moment all season. Every side glance, every awkward conversation, every little spark that Belly has tried to bury on, now it's all about to explode. Jeremiah believes he's days away from marrying the love of his life. Belly thinks she's made her choice once and for all. Conrad has tried and failed to let her go. But in the next episode, one secret, one confession, and one night will set off a chain reaction that will destroy trust, loyalty, and maybe even this family forever. The only question left is, will Belly still walk down that aisle, or will she run straight into Conrad's arms? Meanwhile, Conrad has been keeping his distance, or at least trying to. He's convinced himself that Belly has moved on, that she's made her choice, and that he should respect it. But that doesn't stop him from watching her when she's not looking, from stepping in to help when she's stressed, from making sure things run smoothly behind the scenes. He's still doing all the little things that show he loves her, even if he refuses to say it out loud. And as much as Belly tries to ignore it, she feels it too. Every time Conrad is around, her pulse quickens, her mind races, and she finds herself wondering what it would be like if things had been different. It's dangerous, these thoughts she's having, but they're not going away. The turning point comes at Jeremiah's bachelor party. At first, it's exactly what you'd expect: loud music, drinks, old friends telling embarrassing stories. But then one of his frat boy buddies starts talking about Cabo, not in the guilty, regretful way Jeremiah has described it, but with laughter, winks, and way too much detail. They talk about how Jeremiah and this mystery girl barely left their hotel room. They joke about how into each other they were, how wild the chemistry was, and every word twists in Conrad's gut like a knife. This wasn't a drunken mistake. This wasn't meaningless. Jeremiah had lied. And suddenly, Conrad isn't just angry, he's done. Done staying silent. Done letting Belly marry someone who doesn't deserve her. Conrad leaves the party early, and with every step toward Belly, his resolve hardens. He's not thinking about the fallout. He's not thinking about Jeremiah. He's only thinking about Belly and the look on her face when she realizes she's been lied to. He finds her alone, and the words come out before he can stop them: Jeremiah cheated on you. And it wasn't what he told you it was. He expects shock, hurt, maybe even anger at Jeremiah. But instead, Belly just stares at him and says, no. And that one sentence changes everything. For a second, Conrad can't even process it. She knew, and she forgave him. He doesn't understand. Belly isn't the kind of girl who puts up with being treated like that, or at least, she didn't used to be. He asks her why she would let it go, why she would still marry him after everything. And all Belly can do is cry, because she knows she shouldn't have forgiven Jeremiah. She knows it's not right, but she's already so deep into this wedding, so committed to making it work, that she feels like she can't turn back. And that's when something in Conrad breaks. All the years of holding back, all the missed chances, all the things he's wanted to say, he says them now. He tells her he loves her. He asks her to be with him instead. And for a moment, it's everything Belly has ever wanted to hear. She's waited so long for this. But instead of falling into his arms, she pulls away. Because as much as her heart is screaming Conrad's name, her head is telling her that this is wrong, that this is betrayal, that this is the worst possible time. She leaves him standing there, alone on the beach, with nothing but the sound of the waves and the weight of what just happened, and deep down, she knows that this moment will change everything whether she wants it to or not. The next morning, the air between Belly and Conrad is thick with everything left unsaid. They don't talk about the beach. They don't talk about the confession. They don't even make eye contact for longer than a second. But the silence is loud. Conrad tries to pretend it didn't happen, claiming he was drunk, that he didn't mean it the way it sounded. Belly, however, isn't letting him slip away so easily this time. She calls him out, reminds him of the last time he did this. In season 2, when he opened up, only to take it all back the next day, she tells him he can't keep doing this to her, making her believe in something and then yanking it away. For a second, he looks like he's about to fight for it, about to say he meant every word. But then he hesitates, because admitting that would mean taking her away from Jeremiah, and a part of him still hates himself enough to think he doesn't deserve her. His voice cracks when he asks her what she wants him to do. how she expects him to just erase what happened last night. He tells her that all he's ever wanted was to be able to look her in the eyes without feeling like he's breaking apart. Belly's eyes well with tears, but she doesn't let them fall. She tells him to leave. To go now. And not just leave the room, leave the house. Don't come to the wedding. Don't speak to her again. Her voice is steady, but her hands are shaking, because she knows that by pushing him away, she's trying to protect herself from wanting him even more. Conrad leaves, but the damage has already been done. The tension in the house changes instantly. Jeremiah can tell something's off with Belly, but she brushes it off, saying she's just stressed about the wedding. Jeremiah accepts it at least at first, but a seed of suspicion is planted. And then comes the moment that tips everything over the edge. Laurel, who has been doing her best to stay neutral, notices the strange shift between Belly and Conrad. And though she doesn't say it out loud, she's not blind to the way her daughter's eyes follow him when she thinks no one is looking. Laurel has always been protective, but she's also realistic. She knows that if Belly still loves Conrad, forcing herself into a marriage with Jeremiah will only end in heartbreak. The problem is, she doesn't know the half of what's been going on. Later that evening, whispers start. Jeremiah's friends still, lingering after the bachelor party, drop careless hints about Cabo, about that girl, about how wild Jeremiah was, and this time, Jeremiah hears it. At first he laughs it off, but the way Belly stiffens makes his smile falter. He asks her directly if she's upset, and for a moment, she says nothing. That silence is enough to make Jeremiah press harder. And when she admits she's known about Cabo this whole time, the room goes cold. Jeremiah realizes that if she knew and still looks this conflicted, it means she's been thinking about someone else. And in this world, someone else is always Conrad. The fight that follows isn't loud, it's sharp. Jeremiah accuses her of never letting Conrad go, of comparing them in her head even now. Belly tries to deny it, but her voice wavers. And that's all the answer Jeremiah needs. Every insecurity he's buried comes rushing back, and his words turn bitter. He tells her she should have just chosen Conrad from the start if that's who she really wanted. Belly, feeling cornered, throws it back at him that if he truly loved her, he wouldn't have cheated in Cabo. The look on Jeremiah's face says it all: anger, guilt, betrayal, but underneath it, there's fear. Fear that he's about to lose her for good. What Jeremiah doesn't know yet is that this argument isn't just between them anymore. A few rooms away, someone else hears it, someone who will make sure the truth doesn't stay behind closed doors for long. And once that truth spreads, there's no way to stop the wedding from falling apart piece by piece. The countdown to the ceremony has begun, but so has the countdown to the collapse. The question is no longer if it will happen, but how. And when it does, it won't just be Belly and Jeremiah who pay the price, it will be Conrad, too. And maybe even the whole family. Because once this kind of secret gets out, it doesn't just break a couple apart. It breaks everything. The house feels different now, tense, quiet, and full of glances no one wants to acknowledge. Jeremiah keeps his distance from Belly, not out of choice, but because every time he looks at her, he sees the possibility of Conrad in her heart. Belly, meanwhile, goes through the motions of wedding preparation like she's in a dream she can't wake up from. She tells herself she can still fix this, that she can smooth over the argument, pretend the last few days didn't happen, and go through with the ceremony. But every step she takes toward the aisle feels heavier than the last. The people around her can sense it too. Taylor notices it when Belly forgets to respond to half a conversation. Laurel sees it when Belly stares out the window instead of answering a question about the seating chart. Even Steven, who has been trying to stay out of the drama, picks up on it. It's like everyone knows there's a storm coming, but no one wants to be the first to say it out loud. And then the whispers spread. That overheard fight between Belly and Jeremiah isn't staying contained. A cousin mentions it to an aunt. An aunt mentions it to a friend. Before long, the story has twisted itself into something even messier. Some versions have Jeremiah leaving Belly. Others have Belly running to Conrad the night before the wedding. It doesn't matter what's true anymore, because the damage is in the doubt. Every sideways glance from a family member feels like a question. Are you really ready to marry him? Conrad tries to disappear into the background, but it's impossible. His absence at group meals is noticed. His footsteps down the hallway make people pause. Jeremiah catches him alone once, and the tension is suffocating. It's not a shouting match, it's worse. Jeremiah's voice is low, steady, and edged with fury. He tells Conrad he knows what he's doing, that he's been waiting for his chance to take Belly back. Conrad doesn't deny it. Instead, he tells Jeremiah the truth: he's loved Belly for years, and he's done pretending otherwise. The words hit harder than any punch. Jeremiah walks away. But the way his hands are shaking shows just how much the admission has rattled him. For Belly, the hardest part isn't the stares or the rumors. It's the moments she catches herself imagining a different version of this week, a version where she chose Conrad openly, a version where they didn't have to sneak around feelings and hide truths. Those thoughts come in flashes. Conrad helping her carry boxes, their hands brushing. Conrad looking at her like she's the only person in the room. Conrad's voice in the dark saying, "I love you." Each time, she pushes it away, but the ache it leaves behind grows sharper. And deep down, she's starting to wonder if marrying Jeremiah would mean living the rest of her life wondering what if. Then comes the unexpected. Laurel corners her. She doesn't yell, she doesn't demand, she just asks one question. Are you marrying Jeremiah because you love him more, or because you're afraid of what it means to love Conrad? The question hits like ice water, because Belly doesn't have an answer she's proud of. She tries to speak, but her throat feels tight. Laurel's expression softens, but her words don't. She warns Belly that going through with this wedding for the wrong reasons will hurt more people than she realizes, not just her, but Jeremiah, Conrad, and even the family holding them together. By the time night falls, Belly is lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. Replaying everything in her head, the bachelor party whispers. Conrad's confession, Jeremiah's anger, Laurel's warning. She can't shut it off. And somewhere between one thought and the next, she realizes something terrifying. The wedding might already be over. It's not about the dress or the vows or the music hits, about the trust that was supposed to hold it together. And right now, that trust is gone. The only thing left is the choice she has to make. And she knows that whichever path she takes, someone's heart will be shattered. What she doesn't know yet is that the shattering has already begun. Morning brings no peace, only the weight of decisions Belly has been avoiding for too long. The wedding is now just hours away, yet everything feels wrong. The sunlight pouring into her room doesn't feel warm. It feels like a spotlight, forcing her to face every lie she's told herself. She dresses slowly, almost mechanically, as if she can delay the inevitable by taking her time. Downstairs, the house hums with activity, florists arranging bouquets, relatives laughing too loudly, Jeremiah trying to put on a show of calm for the guests. But under all the noise, there's an undercurrent of something darker, a tension that no amount of polite smiles can cover. Every time Belly catches sight of Conrad in the distance, her chest tightens. He avoids her eyes, but she can feel the weight of everything unsaid pressing between them. Jeremiah keeps trying to check in, but his attempts are clumsy. He brings her coffee she doesn't drink, kisses her cheek in front of people she doesn't want watching, and whispers little reassurances that feel more like reminders. You chose me. Remember? She nods along, but inside, her thoughts are unraveling. Every time she looks at him, she remembers Cabo the frat boy's laughter, the way he never told her the full truth. And every time she tries to focus on Jeremiah's smile, Conrad's voice echoes in her mind, "I love you." It's maddening. This push and pull, and she's starting to realize that the aisle she's supposed to walk down feels more like a cliff's edge. The breaking point comes not from a fight, but from a moment of clarity. Belly is alone in the kitchen trying to breathe. When Conrad walks in for a second, they both freeze, like they're deciding whether to speak or just walk away. Then Conrad, in a voice low enough for only her to hear, says, "If you go through with this, I'll never forgive myself." It's not a plea, it's not even a confession. It's a truth, raw, unpolished, and unchangeable. Belly feels the air leave her lungs. She wants to ask him what he means, but she already knows. This isn't about him trying to steal her away at the last second. It's about him finally admitting that losing her this way will destroy him. And in that moment, she realizes the decision isn't just about who she wants, it's about who she can live without. Jeremiah enters a minute later, smiling like he hasn't walked into the tail end of a moment he'll regret forever. He wraps an arm around Belly, and Conrad steps back, his expression unreadable. But Jeremiah notices something in Belly's eyes, a flicker of guilt, or longing, or maybe both. His smile falters for just a second, but he forces it back, pretending not to notice. Belly can feel his grip tighten slightly, as if holding her physically could anchor her heart in place. The rest of the day passes in a haze. Guests arrive, conversations swirl, and music drifts in from the garden. On the surface, it's a celebration. But for Belly, it feels like a countdown to a breaking point. Every step she takes toward the ceremony space feels heavier. And the voices in her head won't stop. Conrad's confession, Laurel's warning, Jeremiah's accusations. They blend together until she can't tell which one is louder. only that they're all pulling her in opposite directions. By the time the ceremony is about to start, Belly is standing just out of sight of the guests, clutching her bouquet like it's the only thing keeping her upright. Her heart is pounding not from excitement, but from the knowledge that in a few minutes, she might be making the biggest mistake of her life. The music begins, and the world feels like it's holding its breath. But before she takes that first step down the aisle, a voice calls her name from behind. She turns, and in that instant, she knows this wedding will not end the way anyone expects. Belly turns to see Conrad standing there, his face pale but determined, like he's been holding something in for too long and can't let the moment pass. The guests are just beyond the corner. The music is still playing, but here in this quiet space, it feels like time has stopped. He steps closer, his voice low, steady, and almost trembling all at once. "You can't do this," he says, not angrily, not desperately, but like it's the plain truth. Belly's throat tightens, because deep down, she knows he's right. Conrad's eyes search hers, and for once, there's no guarded expression. No walls, just raw honesty. "I know I should have said it sooner. I know I've ruined things before, but I love you. I've always loved you. And if you walk out there right now, I'll let you go. But I'll never stop wishing you'd stayed." For a heartbeat, she can't speak. Every moment between them, every fight, every stolen glance, every unspoken feeling flashes in her mind like it's all been leading to this. She wants to run to him, to tell him she feels the same. But she also knows Jeremiah is waiting for her at the end of that aisle. She whispers, almost to herself, "This isn't fair." Conrad shakes his head slowly. "No, it's not. But it's real." And then, just like that, the spell is broken. A bridesmaid appears, telling Belly it's time. She nods, but doesn't move. Conrad backs away, giving her space to choose, and the weight of the decision feels heavier than anything she's ever carried. She steps forward, not toward the ceremony, not toward Conrad, but toward a narrow side path that leads away from it all. She doesn't know where she's going, only that she can't walk that aisle. Gasps ripple through the guests as word spreads. Belly's gone. Jeremiah finds her minutes later on the beach, barefoot in the sand, her bouquet abandoned somewhere behind her. He looks at her like he's trying to understand a language he's never spoken. "You're not coming back, are you?" he asks, his voice breaking. Belly's eyes sting with tears, but she forces herself to meet his gaze. "I can't marry you when part of me belongs to someone else. It's the truth, cruel and unchangeable." Jeremiah turns away, swallowing whatever he might have said, and walks off without looking back. Conrad arrives only after Jeremiah's gone. He doesn't smile, doesn't reach for her, he just stands there, watching the tide roll in. "So, what now?" he asks softly. Belly doesn't answer right away. The wind whips her hair, the waves crash, and for the first time in a long time, she feels the weight lifting. Maybe she doesn't know what comes next. Maybe it's messy, maybe it's complicated. But one thing's certain, the wedding's over, and everything is about to change. The camera would fade here, but the story is far from finished. The fallout from this moment will ripple through every relationship, every friendship, every memory. And as much as Belly might wish for a clean, easy answer, deep down, she knows this love triangle is far from over. Season 3, Episode 7 isn't the end, it's the spark that will set everything ablaze.